What a fucking calamity! Hey everyone, it's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United. It's a fucking embarrassment. United have just lost 3-0 to Spurs in the Premier League at home. Sort it out, Manchester United. Are you serious? That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life second half. Tottenham Hotspur, fair play to them. Made us look average, didn't they? You know why they made us look average? Because we are fucking average! Jose Mourinho has made us an absolute shell of a team. He has, I'm sorry. I've been trying to support Jose Mourinho, but you're playing fucking Herrera at centre-back, you twat! We've got Lindelof on the bench. Lindelof's shite, I get that. But at least he's a fucking centre-back, do you know what I mean? At least he is actually a centre-back. I don't understand what he's trying to achieve with selections like that. Is he trying to be Louis van Gaal? Because he's doing a good fucking job of it, isn't he? It's an embarrassment, it's a joke. He is the real Portuguese Mr. Bean. He really is. Because he's that much of a joker that he would play Herrera at centre-half. Sort your fucking life out, Jose. He's gone. He's fucking gone as far as I'm concerned now. You know, I'm sorry, I wanted to support him, but when you do stupid shit like that, make stupid selections, and you play such a, looks like an under-motivated team, a team that doesn't even want to play for that dickhead, does it? They don't look like they want to play for him. I'm sorry, they just don't. I mean, it's not, you know, fair enough to him. He's not had any money to spend, has he? Oh, no fucking way! He's spent hundreds of millions of pounds over the last few seasons. He's spent shitloads of money. This is his side. He can't use the excuse, oh, it's not even my team anymore. No, you signed shitloads of players, Jose. And half of them are on the fucking bench. And half of them are shite anyway. And you fucking signed them. So, I'm sorry, you've got to take all of the criticism from this one, because the team didn't look up to it. The team looked bang average. And that all stems from the manager. It stems from the tactics. It stems from the motivation of the players. They just didn't look up for it. Didn't look like they could be asked to play for this twat Jose anymore. They really didn't. So, yeah, if you're joining me right now, we've bottled it. We've lost it. We're not even in title contention this season, are we? This is not a Manchester United side that can challenge for the title. Far from it. Where are we going to finish this season? Mid-table? If we got that Portuguese Mr. Bean twat in charge come Christmas, where will we be then? Where will we be then? You know, I think maybe the board do have to make some sort of a decision very, very soon. And I hate to say that because Jose's history, his track record is second to none, really. And he did do a very good job for us first season when he came in, and last season improved our league position, even though the football was dog-turd shite drab. At least he did improve our league position. But he's not going to improve our league position this year. I know we're only 3 games into the season. It's very early days. But you cannot allow the likes of Chelsea to run away with it, Liverpool to run away with it, of course City. We're not capable of doing that and putting runs together at the moment. Look, we freaking lost to Brighton, you know? We're having mares left, right and centre. Okay, Tottenham are a good team. But the reason they're a good team is not because they've got much better players than us, although they probably do. It's because they're actually a team. They're actually a united front. They're actually capable of playing together. And our team are not capable of doing that. And I believe that all comes from Jose Mourinho and his negativity and his infighting and his drama that he creates at the club. There's all this bullshit and negativity, this aura surrounding the club. And that all comes from him. That all comes from him and his public hatred of his own fucking players. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? It really is what we have come to now. It's not like we've not been trying to keep up with the Joneses in terms of the transfer market. I can see why maybe Ed Woodward and co wouldn't want to spend shitloads on Jose if he's not going to be here come the end of the season. Because, you know, he has had money to spend. He has had players come in. He has signed a heck of a lot of players. But he's just not been able to get the best out of this team. Last season, there were individuals that he did bring the best out of, absolutely. But this is Manchester United we're talking about. We're supposed to be playing attacking, nice, attractive football, entertaining the fans. Did you see how many fans were leaving towards the end of that game? I do not believe them, because there is no possibility of us getting back into that game. If that was 10 years ago under Sir Alex Ferguson, 3-0 down against Spurs with 10 minutes left, no fucker would be leaving that stadium because it's still on. The possibility is still there. Believe in this team. They can fucking do it, and they would have done it if we didn't maybe have a twat in charge, a negative twat in charge, because this side doesn't seem to possess that quality of that dogged determination to be able to get back into it. You're hanging on by a thread and you make something happen. And we used to be able to do that. That's what Manchester United was known for, coming on strong at the end of games. But not this United side. This United side is known for negative, drab, piss-poor football, spending shitloads of money and being the laughingstock of the Premier League since Jose Mourinho's come in, you know. First season was okay, but after that, I mean, how can you justify it? How can you justify the money he spent? How can you justify this type of football that we're playing? How can you justify just the look on the players' faces out there? They don't look like they want to play for the man. I'm sorry, they don't. He's lost that dressing room, or at least most of that dressing room. He's playing Herrera at centre-back, for fuck's sake. He's lost the plot. He really has. You cannot play around with Manchester United, Jose Mourinho, like it's a little toy of yours. Fans, we're watching this games. People are spending their hard-earned money to watch these games. We want to see our team at their very best. We don't want to see an experiment by you Portuguese Mr. Bean fuck. We don't want to see that. What we want to see is a bit of bollocks out there, a bit of balls and spirit. We don't want to see you messing around just as a little protest because you didn't get the players that you wanted in the transfer window, so you start mixing it up and playing players left, right and centre. You're an idiot, pal. You really are an idiot. I was behind you before that, before you just started playing with my emotions and playing with United fans' emotions. Do it on your own time, prick. Don't do it. We're supposedly one of the biggest clubs in world football. Don't mess around with us like that. And that's what he's done. It's like he's this little toy and he doesn't give a fuck anymore. I'm sorry for my language, everyone, if there's any kids tuning in. If there is, sort your parenting out, parents. But it's a calamity, it really is. And I hate to say this because obviously I love United. I want us to be playing good football. I want Jose Mourinho to have been successful at United. But it's 2.5 years now, Jose. We had a shite pre-season. Okay, we had a good game against Leicester, who are probably also shite, let's be honest now. We've had a mare against Brighton, and now we've just been humiliated by Spurs. It was an embarrassment. We didn't just lose to Spurs, we got humiliated by them. First half performance, it wasn't too bad, really. It was okay, but just in 2 minutes. 2 minutes of awfulness at the start of the second half cost us in that game big time. And that goes to show you the instability we've got in the team. We don't have the players at the back there. Jose Mourinho, obviously, as I say, putting Herrera in when we've got Lindelof on the bench. Just don't get it. Our defence is a joke. We are the opposite to O.J. Simpson's legal team here in football in terms. We're the opposite of that. We are shite. So, I mean, I can't back Jose up anymore with decisions like that, selections like that, tactics like we've been displaying for the last 18 months, the pre-season we've had, the start of the season we've had. I cannot support you anymore, Jose Mourinho, because you're making a laughing stock out of the club I love, quite frankly. He's having a double daymare, a Portuguese double daymare at that. And I don't think United are going to necessarily get any better until that twat leaves, until he's gone. Because it's not like we can see any effective change from him. We lost that game to Brighton. It's a calamity. It happens. It happens to the best managers in the world. Results don't go your way. Look at City the other day against Wolves. It happens, But the key to it is the reaction. What happens after the terrible performance? What happens after the shite result? And you expect some sort of a reaction. You expect it because we've got players in there who cost the best part of £100 million. You expect reactions from these players, supposed world beaters, but what do we get? That freaking Romelu Lukaku can't even hit the back of the net from 2 yards out. He missed an absolute sitter in the first half. You've got to take your chances. It's not just Jose. The players have to take a huge punch in the face as well for this one because they're just as much to blame with their shite performances than their lack of determination and their tiny little balls. Chris bloody small balls. And Phil No Bones at the back there. What do you expect? What do you expect? They're just not good enough. They're not up to United standard. We don't have the quality. We needed to strengthen them in the summer. Obviously, the intent from the board wasn't behind Jose Mourinho. We weren't backing Jose Mourinho because we didn't bring hardly anybody in, only Freddie Flintstone to add to our band of cartoon characters that we've got at the club. That's the only people we've got, and then Delort. Yeah, nice one. It's just not good enough. We don't have the players at the club at the back. Look at Tottenham's defence compared to Man United's defence. It's 10 times better. We could have broken the bank, 100 million. Alderweireld, one of the best defenders proven in the Premier League. But no, we didn't do that. And I think it's because the board just didn't want to back Jose Mourinho because they didn't believe in his longevity at the club. They didn't want him to go out there, spend even more money than he already has and potentially still fail and leave Manchester United in a dodgy position, in 12 months' time or whenever it may be. But I personally think it will be, this will be the end of Jose Mourinho at United. I don't know if they'll swing the axe now and try and get Zinedine Zidane in or somebody like that, or maybe somebody else and do it now and just make that decision to try and save us, or if they'll give Jose until Christmas or the end of the season. I don't know, but my personal opinion of it, as I said, is I just cannot back Jose Mourinho anymore as Manchester United manager. There's things that he's done for this club that are great, no doubt about it. First season, Mickey Mouse treble, nice one, Jose, good job. but that's pretty much it. That's where the compliments stop for me. Because last season, the way in which we played our football, considering we are supposed to be one of the most attacking forces in English football, was so negative and so disgusting. And it's carried on over into this window. I was expecting at least a little bit of zip and tenacity from us tonight. And that second half performance just goes to show you everything that's wrong at Manchester United. The vulnerabilities we've got at the back and the lack of bollocks within the team is evident for everyone to see. So, yeah, for me, that's it, Jose Mourinho. Pack your bags. Get on the first plane out of here. You can finally check out that hotel, twat. Shows how serious you are about the club, not even buying a fucking house close, even though you're a billionaire, you prick. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my opinions on it. To everybody who's tuning in right now, thank you so much for stopping by. There's a lot of you. I'm sure most of you are just as infuriated as me, unless you're a Scouser or a City fan or something, in which case, do one, you twats. But anyway, do us a favour, chuck a like on this video and get your comments in. I'll start reading some of them out now. There's a lot pinging through here. So if I've missed any significant ones, I apologise, but I'm going to get onto them now. Gary Wells comes and says, Calamity Jones cost us the cup and cost us yet again in combination with Smalling tonight. Yeah, Phil Jones, just not up to the standard, is he? Every mug would know that by now because he's just shite, isn't he? He's so inconsistent. He's got so many errors in him. And he's injured all the time as well. He went off again injured tonight. That man is just a complete joke of a player, to be honest. For a United player, he's not consistent. He's always injured. And what are those fucking faces he pulls all the time, you know? That's his only redeeming quality, in my opinion. His comedic faces, his cartoon faces. Those are the only redeeming qualities that he has as a defender. He came in as an 18-year-old with all this potential, and he's just not lived up to it, has he? Not lived up to it. Alex Rudd with a super chat. Thank you very much, Alex. He says, gone in the morning. I think he's... I think you might be right. I mean, I think maybe United will just pull the trigger now and get rid of Jose Mourinho because it looks like the team are not prepared to play for him. They're not committed to him. And I think, you know, that's disgusting when these players are on 300k a week. You should just be able to get me in charge and say, lads, you're fucking Paul Pogba, you're Romelu Lukaku, you're Sanchez, you're these guys. Go out there and play your football and they should be able to play to a reasonable standard. But no! Not our set of lads. Not our set of lads, because they just don't have the bottle and the bollocks, quite frankly. And I think Jose's definitely gone in the morning. TM Traveller comments and said, if Moo goes, who would be a good replacement? I mean, I think the obvious choice right now is Zinedine Zidane, one of the most talented, creative players to ever play the game of football. Doesn't always translate over into management, of course. But he's done it. He did it at Real Madrid. He took over the reins there, and he was unbelievably successful in a very short spell with them, really. I know that's probably maybe an easier task than a lot of managerial jobs around the world to go into a club like Real Madrid with players like, you know, Ronaldo and Modric and all those guys. It's a lot easier than going to manage Kettering Town, isn't it? But at the same time, there's so much pressure on those lads over there to perform and achieve, and he did that for the most part. I think unbelievable. How many Champions Leagues in a row? 3? Come on. That's fucking mental. So, yeah, I think he would be a great shout. At least give him a try. He's got something about him. He's got an intelligent football brain. We all know that. He was an absolute magician out there on the pitch. He can help our midfield. He can help our players in terms of actual individual coaching. Whereas Jose Mourinho is not really known for being that man. You know, he's the manager. He's the man manager. He's not necessarily the guy who is going to teach you technique and things like that, which I know we obviously do have coaches for. But somebody like Zinedine Zidane, I mean, come on, he's only going to be able to bring the best out in our players. So to me, he's an obvious choice. He really is. Zinedine Zidane for next Manchester United manager would make a lot of sense. Let me know what you guys think about that. Dennis Compton says, Wenger? Fucking hell, pal. Maybe it has indeed finally got that bad, but unless you actually do want us to permanently turn into the new Arsenal, I say we do steer clear of that one. That's my personal thought on it. Ahmed Columba says, give him time. So there's still a lot of United fans who are backing Mourinho. I must say, I was one of those up until this performance. I just don't understand why he's playing with our emotions by playing Herrera centre-half there. And I just don't get that. You've got Lindelof on the bench there, aching to play. And you paid, what, 30 mil for the twat? And you're not putting faith in him. I mean, what does that really say to the player? What does that say to the side? It's a lack of confidence left, right and centre. I think the players have lost confidence in Mourinho. I think Mourinho's lost confidence in a lot of the players. Cara Perio comes and says, Maureen out. Yeah, I think it's inevitable. Unless the board just decide to stick with him and he just wins the next 5 games and then goes on and really builds on that, then he could still stay, but my personal thought is he's gone now. Andy Lichter comments and says, how on earth can people still back Jose? Better to start rebuilding now. That's the thing, yeah. I mean, what's he going to do? Just leave at the end of his contract, or leave at the end of the year, or get sacked at Christmas now? Because we don't look capable of stringing any decent performances together to any high standard, even against shit teams. So that only begs the question, where will we be by Christmas time if we do stick with him? There's a good possibility that if we could keep this run of form up and be languishing right down there, kind of like his last season in his second spell at Chelsea, where he's lost the dressing room, and they ended up finishing close to the relegation zone, the mid-table. You know, we can't allow that to happen. We cannot allow a club like Manchester United to fall that far down the podium. It's just not on. So I think you're right. I don't understand how people can back Jose now after this, after the start we've had, after the pre-season, after the negative performances last season. How people could still want him as manager, I personally don't know. And it's only one game. This is one game that's just... This is the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was up for supporting Jose. I really was. I love his credentials. I even love his sort of arrogant nature. Or I did anyway, before he actually started to just pick apart our United side in the public. And it's just not right. I don't agree with a lot of the things he said in the public domain. And I just think it's time that maybe, like you say, it's better to start rebuilding now. Get Zidane in. Get somebody with some real pedigree in, with a name, who's successful and is hungry and is still young in terms of managerial career. So, yeah, he would be a good option for me. His Grace Arthur Welly's first Duke of Waterloo comments and says, hot Spur fans literally chanted sacked in the morning. I know, mate. That's all you could bloody hear. And they're right. They're probably right, because... You know, you can't come up against Tottenham and play that way. It was a humiliation. Fair play, I haven't even talked about Spurs. Fair play to Spurs. They performed well. They've got good players in there. They've got a good team. They really have. And more importantly than that, they've got a really good manager who seems committed. You know, in a long contract, seems committed at the club. He didn't have to sign anybody in the window. He knew that. I mean, it would have been nice to maybe add someone, but it's not like our glaring, gaping problems that we've got at the back. He's got great players in all positions throughout the pitch. And he's a great manager. Somebody that maybe if we can't get Zidane, we should look at him. Even though I don't know if he'd even want to come to Manchester United right now with the set of players we got at the back there, some of the issues we've got, and the fact that he is at Spurs. And Spurs have a real opportunity this year after a perfect start, 3 wins out of 3 in the league, to maybe go on and challenge this year. He's built that club up. He really has. And so I don't see that happening, him coming. But yeah, I mean, you know, they're probably right anyway. Eyes wide open comments and says, imagine Martial and Rashford under Wenger. Be flying. Yeah, maybe, but we'd probably still have the same shocking defensive vulnerabilities at the back. That's the problem. When Wenger came in at Arsenal and was ridiculously successful first time around, they already had players like Tony Adams and Martin Keown and guys like that, Lee Dixon. So they had an incredible defence. Correct me if I'm wrong, actually. I'm pretty sure they were all there before he went in. I know he signed players like Sol Campbell and amazing defenders like that, so he probably would be able to address our issues. But come on, let's be realistic now. We're not going to fucking Wenger. Oh. I mean, that comment, I know you're just commenting there, but it pisses me off because that's the state of the side at the moment. We're actually being compared to Arsenal, and maybe having, you know, Arsene Wenger manage Manchester United would be a step up from what we got now. Kyle Fury comments and says, Pig, will United do good in the Champions League? Oh, well, we're going to have to, aren't we? Because we're already well off the pace of the Premier League. Not to say that we can't catch up and we can't challenge for the title still, but I'm just looking at this United side thinking, we don't have it in us. We don't have the players in us. We don't have the solid players at the back. And we don't have the tenacity in the side, which all stems from the manager. We don't have the trust in the side because there's all this infighting going on. And we don't have a manager who really is getting the best out of this side right now. He's just not. I think with the transfer window being so bad, it was paramount that we got the very best out of the team that we've got, the players we've got, and we squeezed as much juice out of those shitty oranges as we could and made some juice out of it. But unfortunately for Jose, I think it's too much of an arse now. There's too much pressure on him. There's too much negativity surrounding the club and his managerial tenure now. And I'm sorry, he's brought a lot of it on himself. And if Manchester United were maybe losing games, but it was close and we were going for it and we were attacking and we were using our attacking talents that we got on the side, people like Lukaku and people like Martial and Rashford and Pogba and guys like that are supposed to be so good, then I think there'd be a lot less pressure on Jose, because at least the fans would be entertained. At least we'd be going for it every game. But he's not even prepared to do that. He's not even prepared to just say, go for it, lads. BHAFC News 07 comments with Mourinho equals park the bus. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said that over his career. There's been spells here and there where they have played attacking, his teams have played attacking under Jose Mourinho. But most of the time, it's defensive, negative, old school 90s Italia tactics, which is go on up, defend, defend deep, hit on the counter-attack, all that sort of stuff. And it's fucking bullshit, to be honest. It is. A team like Manchester United should not be playing that way against anybody, let alone teams like Brighton or other teams who are well below us in terms of the talents that they got in their side. It shouldn't even be up for debate. So, yeah, we are a huge disappointment. The way in which we play our football, the results now have turned into a huge disappointment. So I can't even back Jose on that. You know, if you're an old school George Graham Arsenal and you're playing defensive shitty football, but you're winning every game 1-0, then you can just take your hat off to it and say that's one way of playing football and it's effective and you're doing everything you can to win. And that's what Jose Mourinho has been over his career. He's been a born winner. He's won so many things. He's prepared to play ugly and win. But I'm sorry, what he's got Manchester United doing right now is playing ugly and losing. It is. It's like when you go out with your mates and it's pull a pig night and you choose the worst one and she still turns you down. Do you know what I mean? That's what's going on with Jose Mourinho's team right now, and I'm sorry to offend if there are any ladies watching this. That was probably insensitive of me. Didn't really think that one through. I apologise. But, yeah, you know what I mean. It's like, that is basically what it's like. Gungshi in the house with a huge super chat. Thank you so much for your support on the channel there, Gungshi, with a comment highlighted here. He comments and says, what a joke. The hen must be loving this. Yeah, I haven't spoken to Henry for a few days. Spoke to him a few days ago. He was hopefully going to get involved with a video before the Spurs game. That didn't happen, prick. But I'm glad he didn't now. I really am. And I'll probably be hearing from him very soon indeed, because they just ripped us apart. 3-0. It's an embarrassment. He's probably absolutely masturbating himself over there right now. He's in China. And I don't know if he got up to actually watch this game, but I hope he didn't, actually. I hope he just wakes up in the morning and looks at it and goes, shit, I should have stayed up for that one. Prick. Anyway, Harris Cop, thank you, Gungshi, absolute legend. Harris Cop comments and says, I love you, Flying Pig. Love you too, Harris. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yassar comments, third season syndrome. It's so infuriating, isn't it? 3 seasons you've had Jose Mourinho, hundreds of millions of pounds you've had, hundreds of millions of pounds in wages probably that you've had as well. And what can you get out of this United side? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's a huge disappointment. We're playing like garbage. Are we Moyes' Manchester United in disguise? Is that what it is? At least he only spent 26 million on bloody Fellaini. You spent hundreds of millions on a bunch of twats. And they're not doing the business. And it's a lot down to you, because your man management is obviously not what it was. And there's too much negativity surrounding the club and inside the dressing room. And that's translating out onto the pitch. You've got players like Paul Pogba, who cost £90 million, playing like he's a £90 million turd in the centre of the park. You know? So, I'm sorry, that's it. Jose out. I've had enough of it. I may not be a popular view for some United fans. I don't want to become that club that just sacks managers really quickly and gets somebody else in, and it's this constant managerial merry-go-round, a la Chelsea. But what you have to say about Chelsea and what you have to say about Roman Abramovich's methods is that he's pretty fucking successful at it more often than not, because change often instigates a positive change. You know, change of manager will instigate a positive change within the players because they're all on their best behaviour. They're all trying to impress and perform to get into the side. This United side, I don't know what it is about them, whether they're too comfortable, they're paid too much, or they just don't, they have lost the faith in the manager, but they do not look capable of chasing games. They don't look capable of impacting games when we go behind. We don't have it within us. We've lost that tenacity. You know, I said it 100 times before. We don't have any leaders at this club. We don't have a Vidic. We don't have a Rio. We don't have a Schmeichel. We don't have a Keno. We don't have any of those guys. We've got Phil Jones and Smalling at the back. I mean, come on! Ferdinand and Vidic would eat those twats for breakfast in every single way. In a 2v2, in a fight, whichever way you want to look at it. They would destroy them. And United's teams, successful teams, have always been built on having real quality at the back, a real solid defensive line, and we just don't have that anywhere on the back line. We really don't. You know, Antonio Valencia's great, but he's aging. Luke Shaw, very inconsistent. And those two twats at the back, I don't even need to talk anymore about them because they're just so bad. Anyway, right, guys, I really appreciate your comments. So we've got a super chat here from Alex Rincon, who comments and says, this is all on the Glazers and the lack of investment over the years. I hope that's a sarcastic comment you put in there, Alex, because I'm sure it is sarcastic, because you know we've spent hundreds of millions over the last few years. You know it. And that's not a small amount. Okay, it may not be the most. I think we have been outspent by City in the last few seasons, I believe. And of course, Liverpool has spent heavy this window. But Jose Mourinho has spent a shitload of money, or at least the board has spent a shitload of money for Jose Mourinho since he's been manager. We spent a shitload of money as well when we had Van Gaal in charge, really. So we have spent a lot of money over the years. I hate the Glazers. I don't like the Glazers. I don't want some American, twats coming in. Sorry, Yanks, I know you'll want to. I don't want these American twats coming in buying the club with debt money, and then you just milking everything out of it to pay it back. Of course I don't. And maybe if we did have a more passionate board who were really, in the tradition of the club and knew the foundations of the club and everything, maybe we would have spent more money and be in a much better position right now. But I don't think you can really say the Glazers, even since when they came in during the Sir Alex days, have ever not backed their manager apart from this one transfer window and maybe that Moisey season, which is, which makes sense. They've always spent, and they have always spent a reasonable amount. So I don't share that sentiment. I really don't. Beyond belief, get Jemba back. Don't know if it could get much worse. Yeah, let's see what Jemba's up to these days. You know what I mean? Mark Diaz comments and says Chelsea finished 10th. Okay, my bad. I said they finished closer to the bottom than league table. When he got sacked, they were close to the fucking bottom of the table. That's what I meant anyway. Okay? And again, not sure if that's 100% true. Poltergeist comments, here's the thought. Let's get the pig as United coach. Sign a petition, lads. Create a petition. Sign it. I'd love to take on that mantle. How bad could it be? How much worse could I make them? Probably not that much worse. Let's be honest now. Maybe worse, but probably not that much worse. And probably a lot better, actually. Because I'd be handing out elbows every time they come in at half-time after displays like that. End of games, they'd be getting stone-cold stunners. Mr. Albelis comments, we are hemorrhaging. Put on the tourniquet and sack Jose and get Zidane. Yeah, I think that's going to be a popular stance for a lot of United fans right now. Jose Mourinho, I think, is over the hill now as a manager. I think some of his tactics out there, they've been exposed. They're way too negative. We're way too defensive. This is United we're talking about. And his selections. It's crept into his selections now. He's losing it in his mind. He's going fucking mad. He's lost his marbles, He has, because he's playing Herrera at the back and stuff like that when we've got Lindelof on the bench. Why would you do that? I still don't get that. That's probably the major factor that makes me think it's the end for Jose now, because he's playing with this United side. He's playing like it's a toy. He's saying, look, you didn't back me in the window board, so I'm just gonna make a point. I'm gonna protest. I'm gonna play Herrera, a centre. But come on, you can't do that, Jose Mourinho. You've always got to put out your best 11. I don't think he's done that tonight. That's what's done it for me. That's what's made it the end for me. Right, I'm going to wrap it up now, everybody, but I just want to say to everybody who is tuning in, which is a shitload of people, actually, thank you so much for stopping by on the channel. I appreciate you getting involved, and apologies for not being able to answer all your questions. But do us a favour and come back after this video has been published to YouTube in a couple of minutes and get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section then, because then they will stick around. Then I'll be able to respond to them, and so will everybody else. So please do that. For now, do chuck a like on this video. And if you happen to be new around here, if you've just stumbled across this channel, hit that subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified when I do post a video. On social media, I'm available at Mr. Flying Pig HD. So please give me a follow on all platforms on there. Just want to say apologies for no Monday analysis video today. It's going to be tomorrow now. Still going to call it Monday analysis. But the reason I've done that is because obviously I wanted to talk about Manchester United's performance the next day once the dust has settled. Usually we'd do it on Monday as my Monday analysis podcast airs on a Monday usually, but it's going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow afternoon time, I will be doing a Monday analysis video on Tuesday, breaking down not just Manchester United, but also the other club's performances in the Premier League over the weekend. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Do come back tomorrow for that video. But yeah, I mean, it's just pitiful from Manchester United. It's embarrassing. We were made to look like third-rate pub team today by Tottenham Hotspur. We really were. Get your thoughts and opinions in. Let me know what you think about Jose Mourinho's position at the club. Do you think we should back him? Do you think we should get rid of him? And if the board do swing the axe, who do you think we should bring in to replace him? Get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section in a few minutes' time. You've been watching The Flying Pig on Flying Pig United. Jose Mourinho out. Sort your freaking lives out, Manchester United. This is not United. This is no United side I've ever seen. We don't have the bottle. We don't have the bollocks. We're an absolute shell of the team we once were. Sort it out, everybody involved at the club.